Hey, Braden.
Hey, Miss Sparks, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good too.
Good.
Happy Pie Day.
Um, we'll get this thing done.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you coming to Math Lab.
Yes, ma'am. I was debating on whether to come or not, but I decided to come because if I didn't come, I probably wouldn't do the homework.
Oh, well, all those things that we put in place to keep ourselves accountable. I'm right there with you with my own things. So, wise choice on your part, my friend.
Thank you.
And it's really more fun to do this stuff together anyway.
It honestly is because it's a pain when you're doing it by yourself.
It's just fun to, well, and I actually think that there's some validity in actually processing it out, and
Yeah,
talking about it. I think it sticks in your brain better.
it
Or at
does.
least it does for me.
It does for me too.
All right, so there's only 10 problems, so not too big of a deal, right?
Yeah, but they're pretty difficult.
Yeah, well, okay. So here's how our teamwork's gonna work, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
My calculator's, still dead, and I've procrastinated in purchasing a new one because I don't know why I think the other one's going to resurrect, which we know it's really not going to. But anyway, I'm going to need you to help me do these on the calculator.
I will do it.
Okay, so you're going to be my calculator.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But I'll kind of process us through how to get there.
All right.
Okay. So, first, some things that we need to know. I went ahead and wrote the formula at the top, the summation formula for geometric series.
Yes, ma'am.
So I took the liberty of writing that at the top. So some things that we need are like the first term, that they want us to include in the sum, which we have. That's a 2. The next thing that we need to have is the number, because we find that kind of a primary thing, which we have. That's a 12. One of the other things that we need to have is the ratio, which currently it doesn't show, but we can get that by taking the second term, dividing it by the first, which gives us a 3. And just to confirm that we did it right, I usually go ahead and take the third term and divide it by the second, which then again it's 3. So our common ratio is 3. So now we have pretty much everything that we need to get our summation.
Okay.
So we know we want the sum of the first 12 numbers in the sequence. And the first term, which that's a sub 1, is 2. Then we're going to plug in the rest of what we know. 1 minus, and the common ratio is 3. And we're going to raise that common ratio to the power of 12 because that's the total number in the sequence that we want. And we're going to divide that all by 1 minus the common ratio. So 3 raised to the 12th power is what?
Wait, hold on. 531,441.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
That is a big number.
Okay, so just 531
441.
441. That's pretty.
Yeah, very pretty.
And so then obviously 1 minus that
It's negative.
is going to be 2 times negative 531,440. And that's all divided by 2. And then look, since I wrote it the way I did, I'm just going to cancel those 2. How cute is that?
That's so good.
And then, so our final answer is this.
Wait a minute, though. Where's that -2 go? Or where'd you put the negative sign?
Oh, oops. My bad.
No, you're good.
I lost it, but then I regained it. And now I'm going to lose it again because a negative divided by a negative is a positive.
Okay, so you're going to keep. Wait, so I guess you're just going to have Negative 5, 3, 1, 4, 4, 0, all over -1. But these negatives are going to cancel out, and we're just going
All over
to
negative. Yeah. I have 2 divided by -2, which technically, right, is -1. And then the 2 negatives cancel out for a positive 5, 3, 1, 4, 4. Oh, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's number 2.
Yep.
If I take a -9 and divide it by 18, I'm going to get a -1/2. And if I take a 9/2 and I divide it by a -9, which is the same as multiplying by a -1/9, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to give me a -1/2. So I know my common ratio is -1/2. So now I'm going to plug in what I know. I know that my first term is 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got 1 minus, this is going to be fun, a -1/2 raised to the total number that I want in this series,
8,
which is 8.
all
And that's
over.
1 minus
Negative.
1/2.
That is going to be a fun problem.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you excited?
Totally.
I knew you would be. Okay. So now, my calculator friend,
Yes.
I need, let's see, I need 1/2. And what I would rather do on this, which I think this is what I'd rather do. I like working in fractions. I know no one else does, but take 2 and raise it to the 8th power.
2. Wait, hold on. 2 and raise it to the 8th.
Yes, sir.
256.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to have 18 and then 1 minus, and that would be a positive. So if I raise that 1/2, because this is even, does that make sense?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's going to be 1 minus 1 over 256. I know that looks ugly for now, but just bear with me.
Yeah, I'm. It's good.
Okay. And then so down at the bottom, I'm going to have 1 plus 1/2, which is going to be 3/2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then 1 minus 1 over 256 is, I hope you'll trust me on this.
I trust you.
Okay. So I'm going to change this 1 to 256 over 256.
Okay.
So now I'm going to have 255 over 256. And then that's all going to be over 3/2. Are you with me so far?
Trying to.
I think maybe another reason why I might like these is because I really like fractions. Although I will say it does leave you room to make more mistakes. I'm not going to lie. You know?
Yeah, that's the truth. That's why I always get bad grades on the
No.
fractions.
So, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of leave that 255 over 256 alone. I'm going to work with that 18 and 3/2 because really, if I just like over here, I canceled the 2 and the -2. I can kind of just take this piece. Am I making sense?
Sure.
So if I did 18 divided by 3/2, that's going to bring me a 12 over here, right?
Yeah.
Or here's another thing I can do. Okay. So now, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I have 12 times 255. What's that?
Hold on. With 12 times 255.
Uh-huh.
Where'd the 256 go?
That's my denominator, and I'm going to get back to it in a minute.
3060.
Okay, over 256. All right. Well, 2 goes into both of those. No. So now I'm looking at for what goes into both of them. That's what I'm doing.
2 goes into both of them.
Yeah. Does 4?
Most likely. 30. Oh, not that one. 30, 60. Yes.
Okay. What's 3060 divided by 4?
765.
Okay. And what's 256 divided by 4?
64.
All right. That's your answer.
Okay.
Did you see where I got it?
Yeah.
Did you really? You followed all that? I love that. That makes me so happy.
Good.
And I know that I'm fully aware, and I'm saying this live and on air in Math Lab and all, but it just feels so accomplished to get through a problem like that and like look at the answer and know you got it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and you're using all of those skills that you learned in the 5th grade with fractions.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
You don't sound quite as thrilled as me.
Honestly, no. If you saw my paper, you'd understand why.
I know that was a mess, wasn't it? I had to even erase some. I'm sorry about that. I hope that you followed everything and were able to write it down.
I did.
I didn't. Okay, good. Because like that second.
Complicated.
I'm sorry?
It's just very complicated.
It was. All right, let's see how we do on number 3.
All right.
I appreciate you being my calculator.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. All right. So basically, if we take the 1 and divide it by 10, you're going to get 1/10. So I'm just going to, for the sake of time, just go with that. But typically, you do want to check. But I'm going to trust that it's 1/10 because I'm seeing that some of these are going to be some, heavy fractions. So I don't want to use up all of our day confirming that the ratio is right. I'm going to trust myself. That's scary. But I think even I could divide 1 by 10 and be okay. Feel confident about it.
I think it'll be okay.
All right. Okay, so we're going to try to find the sum of the first 7 terms of this sequence. So we're getting the series, the sum, and then the first thing we need is the first term, which is 10, and then open parentheses, 1 plus, no, Kelly, 1 minus the common ratio, 1/10, all raised to the 7th power. And then that will be over 1 minus 1/10. Wow. That's going to be a lot of zeros. That's all I'm saying when I raise this second part. 1 minus, and then we've got 1 over, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
Yes. And then 1 minus 1/10 is 9/10. And once again, I'm going to kind of isolate this 10 and that 9/10. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
which is the same as, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That doesn't really help me much, does it?
Mm-mm.
All right. This might be one that would be just better off to plug in the calculator. Isn't that what the guy did on the video? Or no?
I haven't watched the Thursday videos yet.
Oh, you didn't?
No, ma'am. I just got done
All
with
right.
all the
If I tell you exactly what to type in the calculator, will you try this? As much as I love fractions.
Yeah, I'll do
And
it.
you can do it. You can't, I mean, we can do it this way. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And type exactly how I tell you to.
I'm about to
You don't
type it.
mind, sir.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Open parentheses,
Yep.
10,
Okay.
open parentheses, 1
Yep.
minus,
Uh-huh.
open parentheses, 1 divided by 10, close parentheses,
Yep.
caret,
Yep.
7,
Yep.
close parentheses,
Yep.
close parentheses,
Yes.
divided by, open parentheses, 1 minus 1 divided by 10, close parentheses, equal.
11.111111.
And you know what? That is the answer.
Really?
Yes.
11.11111.
Yep.
Daggone.
Do you feel like we cheated?
No. I don't know how else we'd be able to do this equation.
Yeah. But that is the answer. But did you understand why I put all the parentheses where I did?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe on number 4, I will actually write all of the parentheses out that you should be doing when you do it. Does that make sense? If you're going to use the calculator?
Yeah, I got you. Which we're allowed to use our calculators, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just making sure, because I'd probably epically fail if I didn't.
Well, I was going to say, as much as I love fractions, because here, what I'm going to have to do on this, I'm putting that gazillion over a gazillion. Well, I don't even know what that is. It's not a gazillion. What is that? Is it a 1, 2, 3? It's just 10 million. So I'm going to have 10 million over 10 million. So I'm going to have 9,999,000, not, you know what I'm saying? Over 10 million.
Yeah.
It probably actually wouldn't be that bad, to be perfectly honest with you, once you multiplied everything out. But
Yeah.
it was still better to do it in the calculator. Not gonna lie. All right. So to get our common ratio, I guess this will be my way to play with fractions here. I'm going to take the first one and divide it by the second, which is always what I do. So if I'm taking a half and dividing it by -1/8, I'm really doing the multiplying by 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or -8 in this case. So the common ratio is 4. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
-4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to plug in what we know. And then since I'm going to be telling you how to put it in, I'm going to write out this way, and then I'm going to add the parentheses in the last, but I can still do what we did last time if you prefer.
So, okay, so my thing is I can do that every single time if I really want to.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I'm gonna do it.
Well, absolutely you can.
I'm gonna do it so I don't have to do it. this way any longer.
Well, and here's the other thing. On this one, let's raise negative. This one isn't quite as bad. So let's get it simplified a little bit and then do the calculator work. Like what is, unless you would want to just type that whole string.
Can I try and type it in by myself and then see if I get it right? And you tell me if I get it right or not?
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, because I think I might be able to actually do this one.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do it on the calculator and then you can tell me if I got it right or not.
Okay. I'm trying to at least get my iPhone calculator to work. On this one, I think I might be able to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, praise the Lord. Let's see. Just don't forget all those parentheses. That's the key on this one.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. 26,214.375.
You got it.
Yes.
That is absolutely the answer. You're a genius.
My calculator is just a genius.
You are a genius.
Thank you, Miss Sparks. Thank you.
1 minus. Okay, well,
I think you shouldn't tell anybody else about this calculator thing and just, keep it between us. And then, I can say I got 100 on the quiz,
See, there you go.
And they'd be like, "Oh, Brady, you're so smart." I'd be like, I mean,
That's right. But you are. That's so true. Okay. Now, just when we got the calculator thing nailed down and you're feeling confident, we're going to change how we're doing things.
Of course.
Of course. Okay. So on this one, we don't know the number of terms. That's the unknown on this one. Okay. We did one of these in class. And just as a reminder, let's see, I don't know where I can write this. We've got AN equals the first term times RN minus 1. That's a sequence formula.
Yeah.
So we can get the common ratio. We've got -6 divided by -1, and then -36 divided by -6. So the common ratio is 6. So we can figure out what we do know. And we just don't know where this term is. So we don't know for our summation up here, we don't know what this N is. So that's what we're trying to find. Okay, we don't know the number of terms in the series. So we're going to take what we know and fill it in to that this formula over here. We got -7776 equals, and then the first term, which is A sub 1, that's -1, times, and we do know our common ratio, 6. And then that N minus 1 is what we don't know. We're going to divide both sides by -1. And we got 7776 equals 6 raised to the N minus 1. So what we want to do is figure out what power we could raise 6 to get 776. What root is it? So. And how we do that is we do, I'm sorry.
Log, I figured it out.
Log.
It's 6 to the 5th.
You go. All right.
I just started typing numbers in and I got it.
Oh, that's awesome. So, because what you really want to do is you'll want to have this side raised to this and this side raised to this, right? And then you can do 5 equals N minus 1. and then you can solve for n, and n equals 6. Okay?
Yeah.
And now what you're going to do is go back in and fill in. Now we have enough information to give the summation because we have the first term, which is -1. We have the common ratio, which is 6.
Wait, how's it 6? Because you have n minus 1. So
No.
5 minus 1 is 4.
Yeah, we had this up here. The common ratio is that.
Gotcha.
Oh, how is it 6? Because n minus 1? Because if I add 1 to both sides to solve for n, I've got n equals 6. Because this is just a little algebra problem.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool. All right. So, and then 6 is the common ratio, and we're going to raise that to 6 power because that's the number of terms in our series. And then that's going to be 1 minus the common ratio. It's kind of wickedly cruel that the common ratio and then the number in the series that we're getting is 6. I always love it when we have problems like that. That doesn't make it more difficult or anything.
No.
-1. And then you can do your calculator trick now.
I'm currently doing it.
You go.
-9,331.
You got it.
Bingo.
That doesn't really look like a 1. It looks like a 7. And now that looks like a scriggly. Oh, well. I'm trying. Okay. Now, for number 6, to find the common ratio, we take the second term and divide it by the first. Would you mind doing that for me? 1875. I'm going to see if this little, I've tried to find a little calculator in the house.
1875 divided by the what?
I'm sorry. 750 divided by 875. I told you incorrectly. 750 divided.
0.4.
Thank you, sir. So the common ratio is 0.4. And now we don't know, what we don't know is the number of terms is. We know the first term, we know the common ratio, we just don't know what 3.072 is, where it is in the sequence. We don't know what number in the sequence it is. So to find that out, we're going to go 3.072 equals, and then we're going to take the first term because we're using this formula over here. 1875 times 0.4 all raised to the n minus 1. So we're going to divide both sides by 1875. So 3.072
.00163884.
Tell me if I wrote it right. Oops, didn't write that right. So now 0.4 n minus 1. Okay, so now we want to figure out what we could raise 0.4 to get this number over here. That's this number. And how you can do that without just hunting and pecking is you can do log 0.00163884 divided by log 0.4. Seven?
Yep.
Okay, so that means that you would have 0.4 to the 7th and 0.4 to the n minus 1, which means when you have the same bases, you can set the exponents equal to each other. So now we know n would equal 8. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, it's a runaway.
She's a little runaway.
Oh. All right, so now we're going to plug in what we know. SN, summation. And then the first term is 1875 times 1 minus, and then the common ratio is 0.4, all raised to the 8th power, all over 1 minus 0.4.
All right, let me just tap this in real quick. It's going to be 3122.952. 3,122.952.
You go. That's it.
Awesome.
How you feeling about that calculator work?
That calculator work is what's up, Miss Sparks. You're missing out.
I know. I need a calculator.
You do.
I don't get to play the games. It makes
Nope.
me sad. So sad. Okay. All right. So now, with the summation written in this way, we know that the base of the exponent is the common ratio. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this number right here, this 0.4, that's the common ratio, -4. It's the base of the exponent. So when there's more than, like sometimes there'll be more than that number, like on number 8, there's 2, numbers there. The 1/2 is going to be the common ratio. Okay. So it's the number that's associated with the exponent. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. All right. So, and then the number of terms in the summation that we're looking for is going to be this top number minus the bottom number plus 1. In this particular case, because it's 12 minus 1 equals 11 plus 1 is 12, it's the top number, but that won't always be the case. You can always depend upon taking the top number minus the bottom number plus 1, that will always be the number.
Okay.
You can default to that, because that way you don't get caught up in the fact, oh, let me just look at the top number. And you always do that, because that's not going to work on number 9 and it's not going to work on number 10. So I feel like if you kind of get in that habit,
12 minus 1
is 11 plus 1.
11 plus 1 equals 12. So it's always going to be n minus what x equals.
And so on now what you're going to do to get the first term is you're going to plug in 1 where the x is. So if I plug in a 1 right here, 1 minus 1 is 0, and anything raised to the 0 power, no matter the number, is always 1. So your first number in the sequence is 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll have 1 minus, and then what's the common ratio?
-4.
Uh-huh. Raised to the 12th power. And then that's all going to be 1 minus the common ratio again.
-4. That's a big number, Miss Sparks.
Indeed it is.
3, 3, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3. Is that it?
Yep.
Awesome.
That is it.
I actually understand this one, I think. This lesson.
Yay. I was gonna show all of that, but And actually it's a negative. I was like, it has to be negative. Do you understand why? Did you get a negative?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did I just not hear it and write it down? And I'm really sorry.
I think that's what happened.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh, that's 215. All right. On number 8, 7 minus 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So our number is 7. Our ratio is 1/2. And our first term is 24. Because if I plug in a 1 up here, I'm going to have 1 minus 1, right?
Yeah.
And that would make that 0. And 1/2 raised to the 0 power is 1. So my first number in the sequence, that value of A1 is 24. And then we've got 1 minus the common ratio, which is 1/2 raised to the 7th power, all over 1 minus 1/2. Are you doing your calculator magic?
In a second, I'm just writing it all down real quick.
Okay. The key is making sure you get this plugged in right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. $47.65.
That's it.
Yep.
If you don't, oh, it should be 625.
Wait, what?
625?
Yeah, 0.625.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I just didn't hear you right, so I wrote the wrong thing.
No, that's all good. Don't worry about it.
If you leave out a parenthesis, this can totally be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm kind of confused.
Okay. Tell me what you're confused
The
about.
number 9 and 10.
Okay.
When I did 14 minus 4 equals 10. 10 plus 4 equals 14.
Okay. 14 minus 4 equals 10 plus 1 is 11.
Plus 1. So
Yeah.
it's always a plus 1 no matter what.
Always a plus 1 no matter what. See, because it worked up there too. We did 12 minus 1 is 11, plus 1 is 12.
Okay, that makes sense.
7 minus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7.
Right.
So your number is 11 for this one. Your common ratio is the one that's associated with the exponent.
Yeah.
So that's -4/3. And then to find your first term, This will be a little more fun because the value of the first term is going to be the one where you plug in a 4 into the exponent. So now we're going to have 81 times, and you can do this in your calculator, negative 4 over 3 raised to 4 minus 1 is 3. Bless you.
Thank you. All right, 2000.16.780 or yeah, 78 1.
Wait a minute. For your first term?
No, for the answer.
Oh, for the total answer. What'd you get for your first term?
Oh, I didn't. Oh.
Because you have to figure that one out first. That's negative 192. That's 81 times negative 4 over 3 raised to the third power, because you got to plug in that 4 up here. So we still haven't got all the information to do your summation yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
because you have to plug in that 3 up there because it's not as cute as it was last time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, before it was a little easier because the first term was pretty easy. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. So the answer is negative 192?
Well, no. The answer to the first term is negative 192. Yeah. That's it. So then you have 1 minus a minus 4 thirds, all raised to the 11th power. And then that's all going to be over 1 minus a minus 4 thirds. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Negative 2030 point, hold up,
562.
562008.
Yep. Perfect. Oh, sorry. That's my dog. Shh. Be sweet. Killer.
What's the name?
Finn.
Finn, I like that name.
Yeah, it was hit by a car when it was before we owned it. So its little front paw doesn't work.
Oh.
And so we called it its Lucky Finn.
Oh.
So, all right. So what number is associated with the exponent?
What?
On number 10, what number is associated with the exponent?
5.
So that's going to be our common ratio.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
Can I try to do this one by myself and then?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Are you looking at your paper so that if I keep working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Really quick though, I don't know where you got for the problem before. Where'd you get a 3 from?
Problem 4?
Or 9. Problem 9.
Where did I get the 3 from?
Yeah.
Okay. See this here? K equals 4?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to plug in to find the first term because it's saying that the value of the first term that they want to use for this series is the value of the fourth term. To get the value of the fourth term, I have to plug in 4 minus 1 for this part right here. 4 minus 1 is 3.
Okay.
So over on this one, I'm going to plug in a 2 because they want to know the value of the second term. So I'm going to have 1/10 times 5 raised to the 2 minus 1 power.
Which is 1.
Which is 1. Which then is
0.5.
0.5. Duh, 1/2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running out of room, so I've got to erase.
No, you're good. I'm already going to start on the problem.
You go. This one isn't too bad.
For 48,828.
That's it. You got every single one of them right on your own.
Yay me.
I know, right?
So proud of myself.
I would be. See,
Awesome.
you don't even need me.
Nah, I do.
All right. Well, we're all done.
Awesome, Miss Sparks. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a blessed day.
You too.